All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today is a big day for Ethereum. We've got Ethereum at a brand new all-time high. We've got a big airdrop happening on the platform today. And we got some rumors of another big project that could be shipping on top of Ethereum pretty soon. So I'm talking about those things in this video today, what you need to understand. We're going to answer some of your questions, look at the overall crypto markets, and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. And on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, nothing I'm saying in this video is designed to be financial advice, and there's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Like, just ignore them. It's crazy. Like, why would I ever give you my phone number on YouTube or ask you to invest with me? Not going to happen. So I got people in the chat here. Automatic Beats, David Stone, Code Chap, Camille, VD, Z, Norris, Yeast. Welcome. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into this. So today is a big day for ETH. So there's lots of ways in which that's true. So let's go ahead and just pull up the screen here. So ETH is hovering at a brand new all-time high of $4,755. Okay, Bitcoin is getting pretty close to a brand new all-time high as well. The entire markets are just green across the board. There's no exception for ETH. Okay, so we're not surprised if we saw ETH break, $5,000 pretty soon, heading towards our long-term price targets of $10,000 per Ether. Okay, so I think that's a very realistic target to expect for Ethereum, this cycle, assuming that we do continue on into cycle theory of things. So if you're brand new to the channel, I've talked pretty extensively about what could possibly happen with the price of Ether, whether, we're in a traditional crypto market, crypto like cycle, or whether we're in some sort of super cycle, something like that. You check out some of those other videos if you want my full perspective on that. But if you think about crypto being in traditional cycles, I still think that we're, doing pretty well. So, let's talk about one of the things to think about in terms of the cycles is right now, things look good, and when things look really good, that's the time to also be careful because, that doesn't mean that along the way we couldn't have some bumps in the road and some hiccups, right? Markets tend to not do what everyone thinks is going to happen. So, as we kind of got up to this, all-time high levels for Bitcoin and Ether, we had some resistance, right? We didn't just instantly blast through those levels like we did at the end of 2020, right? It's taken us some time to establish yourself above it. But with ETH, I mean, it's just crazy. You can just see it's just this sort of gentle undulation up and to the right. So the reason I say that is some people say, well, if it's going to go up and down and it's, up, down, sideways, why does it even matter? Well, the reason it matters is because the biggest risk to most people getting to crypto is yourself. Okay, even if crypto goes up in price long term, like if you panic sell after you buy it, after it goes down, that's when you lose your ticket and you ultimately lose money. So let's talk about another big thing that's happening on Ethereum today, which is the token airdrop for ENS. Okay, so we talked about this last week, why this is such a big deal. Let me just pull it up here. So ENS is the Ethereum name service. Okay. So basically what this is like if you ever used MetaMask to use an Ethereum Dapp of some kind, maybe you've traded a token on Uniswap or some sort of DEX, or you have, bought an NFT, or you just simply held cryptocurrency in your own wallet. You might have used this, or maybe used another blockchain with MetaMask, Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, maybe use Phantom Wallet, whatever it is, right? Like you have an address, and that address looks like a machine code of some kind, right? So it is basically, it's not really supposed to be a human readable address. It's addresses that machines are really supposed to understand, okay? So what ENS does is it allows you to give a human readable name to your blockchain wallet address, okay? So ENS is built on top of Ethereum. It's for Ethereum. And so what you can do is register like a domain name like object, an ENS domain, like a .eth for your Ethereum address. And you can use that to point to websites. You can use it to point to, your blockchain wallet. And so you might have seen these float around online, like these .eth handles on social media. So these have been pretty popular in the Ethereum community for a long time. I think ENS is a great project. But the whole point here is they are doing a token airdrop for people who've held, ENS names before, I believe, is October 31st, okay? And so they are creating new cryptocurrency because they are decentralizing the ENS project. Basically, they're turning it into a DAO, or a decentralized autonomous organization. And how that works is it's going to distribute tokens so that people can actually govern the DAO. So if you hold tokens, you can vote on things that happen to the ENS protocol, okay? So this is a pretty common thing. We saw this with Uniswap. We saw this with lots of other DeFi projects where they start off very centralized, just people developing the smart contracts, making all the decisions, and then they create a cryptocurrency, and then they reward people retroactively who have used the protocol. So if you sign up for ENS today, I don't think you're going to get any free tokens. But if you had registered ENS name prior to October 31st, you should be eligible for this, and this is supposed to go live. Okay, so this is to be a big deal. We kind of did some speculations on what this could be worth. We'll just have to wait and see, because ultimately the market's going to set the price with these cryptocurrencies. That's a common misunderstanding for a lot of new people too. They're like, hey, I thought the cryptocurrency price is like programmed into it somehow. It's not how it works. So basically, like with the ENS projects, what's going to happen is people are going to take their tokens, they're going to go stick them on a DEX like Uniswap into a liquidity pool, and people are just going to start trading. It's going to be super low volume, low liquidity. So even if you had like some massive ENS airdrop, you wouldn't necessarily be able to sell out of your position at the fair market value price because of slippage. So let's just wait and see. I'll probably get an update on this tomorrow, what the price ends up being. Somebody says I snatched my name in time thanks to Greg. Awesome. Yeah, we've been talking about ENS on this channel for a long time. So most of the major airdrops that have happened, especially around the Ethereum ecosystem, like we've covered the projects before they've gone live with the airdrops, okay? I don't always have the inside track on like what project's going to do an airdrop. In fact, nobody really should, because like that kind of defeats the point. But yeah, I mean, if you just like use stuff, especially stuff that we talk about in this channel in a low risk way, like you're probably going to hit some home runs. Like we did this with the Uniswap airdrop last year, and like it was really easy to like make like 5 figures in airdrop instantly off of Uniswap just from having done a couple simple swaps with a couple different wallets. Okay. So the other big thing on the Ethereum space, this is a big day for Ethereum. We got the big airdrop happening. ETH is at an all-time high. We also have a rumor here. Okay, so this is a rumor. Not been confirmed by any major news outlets that I know of. Okay, so we'll have to see if this ends up coming true. Again, just like repeat over and over and over again. This is a rumor. I don't want to spread fake news. But if it's true, then it's pretty big. Okay, so this is saying that Reddit is, I'm going to do my own editorial here, is rumored to, in case somebody like edits this video clip, Reddit is rumored to convert karma points into ERC20 tokens. Okay, so if you've ever used Reddit before, this would be huge. So basically, Reddit has been in the blockchain space for a while, okay, or been like kind of dipping its toes into the blockchain space for a while. So we've seen Reddit talk about community points, okay, with crypto, but this would be a way where they have the karma points. So the karma is the sort of like button essentially on Reddit that's been there for a long time. I guess you could say the upvotes more like the like button. The karma points are like your credibility in the ecosystem, and they're saying that they would basically convert this to ERC20. Now, part of me wants to call BS on this because it's like there's so many ways you can game the system on this, and then yeah, I mean you could essentially just buy karma at that point, or you could just farm engagement basically, and then accrue karma and then just dump it. So we'll see. Some of this maybe doesn't pass the smell test, but maybe there's something in here that I'm missing that could be pretty cool that would make this true. So anyways, like it's plausible enough to bring it up and to say that this could be interesting, but it's also got some things that don't quite add up on the surface. So again, this is a rumor. We don't know this is actually happening, but it could be big. Okay, so Another thing to know about is that we did have the infrastructure bill. A little update on that. It actually passed the United States. So I know this is something that a lot of people in crypto are not going to be fans of, okay? Because it actually has some unfavorable regulations towards crypto inside of it, okay? But let's kind of talk about this. So, quick recap. We cover the infrastructure bill pretty heavily, and if you're not in the United States, you don't follow politics, whatever, this is still pretty relevant even if you're interested in crypto and blockchain in any way, because this is the type of thing that can set the tone for what happens worldwide, and also, like, just because the U.S. is such a major center of economic activity, that it can have a major impact on crypto globally. So let's talk about it. So the infrastructure bill, something in the United States where basically they are passing some legislation that is designed to there's basically it's called an infrastructure bill. So basically it has this title that says it's designed to do this, but then they stuff in all this other stuff, okay, to kind of get what they want, to make it an all or nothing type deal. Okay, so this happens all the time. It's one of my least favorite things about politics. So basically, you might say, what's crypto got to do with infrastructure? Well, the whole idea is you can impose regulations upon it that essentially raise money to pay for infrastructure. That's kind of like how it's relevant to infrastructure, okay? But the big downside here is now it has all this cumbersome regulation heaped onto crypto. So what is it? So there's a lot of drama about this early this year when this bill was being drafted, okay? We talked about it pretty extensively on this channel. So the idea is that, like, they had some really vague language in the bill that was saying that basically anybody in crypto who facilitated in money transfer in any way was now a broker, okay? And that those people now had to KYC anybody they interacted with, okay? And that regulation would essentially make it impossible to comply with the regulation and do crypto in a compliant way in the United States. So the whole idea is, like, if you're a validator, you would have to KYC people who did transactions. Like, you can't do that. There's just no way you could comply with that. So that basically means you just can't use crypto. So I don't know that that's going to be the long-term impact here. So I'm going to look at this tweet thread that kind of is a little bit of a post-mortem on this that is somewhat hopeful, despite the upsetting news. It doesn't seem to be having too much effect on the crypto markets in the short term. So despite our best efforts, the infrastructure bill is passed with the terrible crypto tax reporting provisions. The fight is not over yet. However, we have several paths to continue to pursue a fix. So it's important to note the crypto tax provisions will not take effect until January 1st, 2024. So there is time to roll back this law before it affects anyone. So what can we do? So first, the Senate will now work on a second major spending bill, and it's possible an amendment could be included in that bill. So we are lucky that Senator Wyden, of Finance Committee Chair, will be will be a key to that bill. Second, we've been working with several members of the House to introduce standalone bills to amend the new crypto tax reporting provisions. We would have over 2 years to get that passed, so we've got plenty of time for 2024. So third, altogether, the broker definition is now very broad. That doesn't mean it automatically covers miners, node operators, developers, et cetera, like I was saying a second ago. That's what everybody thought. So Treasury will now interpret its authority and decide who it will apply requirements to. We will engage that regulatory process. Yeah, the counterpoint to that, though, is like, it still gives them the power to do it, even if they say they're not going to do it. Like, that doesn't mean they're not going to do it. Anyways, finally, we believe that some aspects of the law, like this individual reporting requirement, are unconstitutional. If they are not fixed by later legislation, we will mount a court challenge. So that's some thoughts on the infrastructure bill. There is time to make this better, and there are clear paths to doing so. We just have to take action. So here's the other thing is, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of politics in the first place, as you might have guessed from just how these bills go down, and my view on that. But it's really easy to check out and say, oh, there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing matters. But this is a situation where, if you care about crypto, this is a way that you can become informed and try to get involved and try to at least do something to help this. In the very least, just like knowing about what it is and letting other people know who also vote why it matters. Okay, so let's look at a couple other things here. Let's see, there was some questions in the chat. Somebody says being a Redditor paid off. Yeah, it could. So yeah, we'll see if the Reddit stuff ends up being true or not. Yeah, as people saying too many major investors and corporations in Bitcoin now to ruin it in the U.S. Yeah, I think it's true, but here's the thing: like, you have to ask yourself, it's like, why would some of these politicians vote in their own best interest? Well, it's because they're probably receiving some sort of benefit that offsets the negative impact that would incur, and probably significantly so. So speaking of ETH World, so we'd also see another pretty exciting update on the layer 2 scaling front. Okay, so since we're kind of going on a theme of the big day for Ethereum, here's another thing that came out. Matter Labs, who developed ZK Sync, which is an Ethereum scaling solution, has excited that they have just closed their new funding round. Okay. So Matter Labs, so full disclosure, I'm a supporter of Matter Labs. So, but Matter Labs basically just closed their funding round led by A16Z, including a bunch of different investors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, ZK Sync is using a zero-knowledge proofs to scale Ethereum fully in a trustless manner. Our long-term mission is to make self-sovereign participation in digital economy, maintaining true control over one's digital assets affordable for anyone in the world. So ZK Sync fully inherits Ethereum security guarantees by adopting the ZK rollup architecture, the blockchain scaling approach that relies on pure cryptography instead of collectively trusted validators. Okay, so basically, they're using this to help speed this process up. So what's the big deal with ZK Sync? So one of the biggest complaints about Ethereum is too slow, it's too expensive. How do we fix that problem? Basically, we create layer 2 scaling solutions to create a separate environment where we do a lot of the transactions and then settle those transactions back on the main Ethereum chain. So the answer to ETH's gas fees and scaling issues is not to go use a different blockchain. It's not to use a side chain. It's not to wait for Ethereum 2.0 to roll out, because that's not going to fix it either. It's basically you do this other thing now. You create this second environment and you speed everything up. But it still uses Ethereum underneath the hood. It's just you do stuff in a separate environment. Okay. So there's lots of different implementations of this. There's optimistic rollups. There's ZK rollups. There's optimism and Arbitrum, which fall into the optimistic rollups category. There's zero knowledge based solutions. ZK Sync is one of them. There's lots of others as well. So I'm personally excited about zero knowledge based solutions of the long term. Okay, because they can essentially do cryptographic proofs to help validate, cryptographic proofs to essentially guarantee the validity of transactions rather than using an intermediary. Okay, so it minimizes trust in that way. And then also you don't have the long withdrawal periods like you do with optimistic rollups. And one of the biggest benefits of something like ZK Sync is that it's going to actually have a Solidity compiler. So that was one of the trade-offs of ZK solutions initially, which was basically you had to port your app over to something else. Like you couldn't just take a Solidity contract and just stick it on there. But now they're going to have a Solidity compiler where you can just take existing code and make it scalable with zero knowledge based solution. That's exactly what ZK Sync is doing. And we're going to see a big push forward from them after they've closed this big funding round. So yeah, I'm excited about ZK Sync as a player in the game. Again, full disclosure, I'm a supporter of ZK Sync, but I only support projects that I believe in the massive potential of. Let's see here. Let's actually look at L2Beat. So you can look at this. L2Beat is a website that tracks the different scaling solutions. And so here's other things. You have some application-specific scaling solutions like Loopring and like DYDX, okay, they're doing really well. These basically make the rollups fast. They make the applications fast, and some of these even use like ZK rollups, okay. But and I think there's definitely a place for these. I just long term, I'm excited for general purpose layer 2 scaling environments, because essentially it's just like it's an open platform, just like Ethereum, where you can just build whatever you want to and put it out there, and people can use it. Okay, I think we'll see other layer 2s that are application specific that will be used in the real world. For example, Visa is talking about building a layer 2 exchange for central bank digital currencies and stablecoins, ostensibly to power something in the Visa network. And they were building that as a layer 2 on top of Ethereum. Now, we don't know if that's going to be the final solution, but that's what they're doing now. And so that's an example of an application-specific rollup that I think could be really powerful. And that's the beauty of a public blockchain, is you can build on top of it whatever you want to. All right, but if we have this really big decentralized ecosystem, you can create general purpose rollups where developers can build whatever they want, spin up these new projects. But if you want, like, centralized finance can still build on top of it because it's better, faster, cheaper. And then you have all these people in traditional finance who are doing just regular payments, that can be using blockchain underneath the hood without possibly even knowing they're using blockchain, because the blockchain is basically replacing all the payment infrastructure that was, used in the legacy system, which is horrible. It's slow. We're talking about slow and expensive. It's like, have you ever done a wire transfer? Somebody says I'm not watching the charts. Let's look at the charts. Let's see what's going on here. Well, ETH is like $20 higher than when we started the stream. We can look at we can actually pull up like a live chart, like a better chart. I got the 1 minute chart pulled up here. Okay, so this is all the institutional money is piling into ETH. I think there's a lot of institutional interest in ETH for sure. I mean, I think a lot of people realize there's so much you can do with ETH compared to Bitcoin. And we've seen institutional adoption as Bitcoin as being a huge part of the last year, for sure. I think it has its place. I mean, I hold Bitcoin, full disclosure. Hold Ethereum. Ethereum is my largest position, but I still hold some Bitcoin. Okay, so we have more on the metaverse front. So Facebook has officially changed over its about Facebook page with the Meta URL to it to have a big description of Meta. If you just like Google Meta, it'll be like the first thing that pops up, right? So it's like a big paid ad at the top of the Google search results page to talk about the metaverse. All right. So this is big. I mean, I think this is another reason that Ethereum is starting to get a lot of attention. People talk about institutional money piling into ETH. I think, Facebook literally changed their name to Meta, like explicitly talking about the metaverse. Not Facebook, the app itself, but Facebook, the company that owns Facebook, Instagram, Oculus, Messenger, all these really important products. We talked about earlier this year, Mark Zuckerberg saying they're pivoting their direction from a social media company to a metaverse company. I mean, it's huge because it's just like everything else. There's a couple different ways that people get into blockchain at all. One is just by cryptocurrency prices. Probably the best marketing on the face of the planet for blockchain technology, because when you see something that triples in price in like a really short amount of time, that just gets people to say, like, how does that happen? How does that work? Now, it's really polarizing the reactions. Some people are like, oh, that's a scam. That's a bubble. Like, that's for stupid people, right? But then you have people who are a little more open-minded who are like, okay, so what is that? Why did that happen? And then that sort of sends you down this rabbit hole, and you learn about it. Okay, so that's one way. And another way is with DeFi. Part of the reason that DeFi took off in the first place, it's kind of the same thing, because a lot of people learn about DeFi because the prices went up, right? And it's the same kind of thing with NFTs. People kind of got into NFTs because the prices went up, right? You saw people that might have bought a new car or something like that because, well, I flipped NFTs, so like that really has a way of bringing people into technology. Now, I think very similarly, like the metaverse type of thing is now a new estuary, I would say, right? Or a part of this estuary of bringing people into crypto. We're building all these streams that lead into the same place. When you see somebody like, Facebook having this massive like keynote for Meta, it's just another opportunity for the floodgates to open, to bring people into this ecosystem and show you what this technology is capable of. So I think gaming's going to do the exact same thing. We're just building all these different things, all these spokes on this wheel that's going to lead to this central hub, and it's absolutely crazy. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Facebook. They think it's kind of the antithesis of crypto and decentralization, all that type of stuff. I totally get it. And there's lots of reasons why, Facebook could be doing this. Of course, it's a big bet on the future, but some people say it also has this benefit of Facebook trying to, heal their reputation that they've earned as a not so good social media company, got in some trouble over the years, and say, well, that reputation is probably just going to follow them in the metaverse as well. We don't want a metaverse that's controlled by central companies. I don't think it's going to be long term. But regardless of how you feel about it, it's going to have, I think it's going to have a net positive impact on the entire space. Think about the sheer amount of people that can bring into this space. That's the biggest thing to think about. Please tell us the future scope of blockchain developer, and as fresher graduate, how I can enter that. Well, definitely check out the pinned video to my YouTube homepage. It's called How to Become a Blockchain Developer in 2021. I'll probably update that video soon for 2022, but that's literally like the overview of how to get into blockchain, like the programming language you should learn, what you should do to set yourself up for the career track. As far as the scope goes, it really depends on the company, what they want you to do. What are new blockchain developers typically doing? Well, you definitely need to, if you want to work for blockchain that has anything to do with Ethereum, smart contract development is going to be your number one skill, okay? So even if you end up doing something else, but here's why. If you can program smart contracts, you can pretty much do most of the jobs that a beginner would be asked to do at a blockchain development company. Because in order to program smart contracts, you have to understand how blockchain works, you have to understand how Solidity works, you have to understand how to write tests for smart contracts, write scripts against smart contracts, how to write websites that talk to smart contracts. All that stuff if you know all those skills, you're gonna be set up to do a beginner job at most places. Not everything, but vast majority of the use cases, you're gonna be set up. Now, it's one of those things where it's like your skills are not necessarily going to be exactly where they need to be, in every case, but that's why you basically build a portfolio. You get experience outside the workplace as much as you can to where someone shows that you've taken that self-initiative and you are clearly the type of person who can grow into the role that you are applying for. Okay, so that's what you want to do. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel. If you haven't already, that really helps these videos out so more people learn about blockchain. And if you're as fast at this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master's shortcut entirely, I can become a blockchain master step-by-step to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.